From Road America, this is the Global SimRacing Channel's Round 2 coverage of the Absolute Beginners League's Formula Neagle Season 17 Championship. For many a season, the marriage of David Burns and Vincent Bream, better known as Two Stupid Dogs, were the odds-on favorite to win the Formula Neagle Team Championship. This season, Two Stupid Dogs are back at it, but an influx of talented combos have the defending champions in the 5th place doghouse. Just on the scene is the Finnish duo of Sami Toikala and Timo Väskylampi, racing for lap 1 experts, and they lead in the team points with another pair of rookies, this time from Germany, Ronald Grossman and Mike Pollock, having their team for Sim Racing just 5 points back. And on the individual driver side, the question persists, is Sami Toikala Errol Num 2.0? Num, of course, the Roland Estonian who dominated in the Skippy for so many seasons. Will round 2 shake things up, or will it be more of the same? Find out as all the simulated Skippy action from green flag to victory donuts can be seen live as it happens right here on GSRC. Badger State, hello and welcome. Way up in the press box to bring you our Word's Eye view. It's yours truly, Bill Soupson, joined by the prodigal son, Adam Young. Sean Ambrose has director duties, armed with cameras provided by Dougie Beer. All right, Adam, the Skippies are small, Road America is big, but not too big for these brave little machines. Tell us about this place.
Man, I tell you what, it's great to be back at the Absolute Beginners League, and great to now have the Skippy back as well. Man, and of course, I get to come back to a great track like Road America. 14 turns, 4 miles in length, one of the premier facilities in the United States for road racing. In fact, even Lewis Hamilton himself just commented on the IndyCar race here a few weeks ago that, man, I love this place. A lot of grass runoffs. So, not the paved runoffs you see on almost every single Formula One track out there right now. But we're here live in Elkhart, Wisconsin with that Skip Barber machine, and let's go ahead and take a lap around with it in today's lap guide.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC Skippy, so let's do a lap around Road America. As you can tell, the front stretch is a long one, and by the time you reach turn 1, you're going to be flying. Turn 1 tends to be a good passing spot, but it's also a medium speed corner, so it can make outbraking your opponent a tad tricky sometimes. Just make sure not to dip your wheels into the grass on the outside, or else it'll be easy to spin the car across the track and into the barrier on the right. Now we take a trip downhill into 3. This is a very important corner to get right because it takes you into the moraine sweep. Botch the exit, and you'll find yourself a sitting duck the whole way down to turn 5. Of course, even with a good exit, it'll become obvious that the huge draft on the Skippy will keep your opponent within easy reaching distance. Telegraph your moves early if they make a go at you, because the kinks in this stretch can make a simple overtake into a tangled mess of cars at the side of the road. There's going to be a huge braking event here into 5, and it's probably your best chance at a pass during the lap. Expect a few drivers to overshoot the corner at least once during the race because of the precision required into this high-speed braking zone. Now it's back uphill, and we throw the car into the blind turn 6. Turn in too late and expect to mow the lawn around the outside of the bend. If you managed it correctly though, we've got a little lift into the fast kink of 7, and after that we head into the hurry downs. This is a place where drivers may try a sneaky pass into 8. However, defending shouldn't be too big of a problem because this square bend leads directly into the carousel. A slow exit won't put you at too much of a disadvantage if you elect to take the inside line on entry. Now, as we continue downhill around the more than 180-degree carousel, it's all about balancing the car on the throttle. Exercise patience and be sure not to get overeager to punch the gas. Once you are able to put the power down, we find ourselves approaching the kink. Even in the underpowered Skippy, this bend can be scary and punishing. There's almost no runoff on either side, so mistakes will be costly. As you can tell, we're deep in the woods now in the kettle bottoms. A couple more gentle bends in the road, and then you line up your car for the braking into Canada Corner. Here's a great place for a last gasp overtake if you're in a final lap battle. Once again though, drivers are likely to outbrake themselves as they attempt to go deeper than their rival. After that, we head back uphill through 13 and 13A. You've got to commit through this blind left-hander and stay brave enough to keep your foot in it all the way through. From there, swing the car to the left side of the track, get it slowed down, and really focus on nailing the exit of the last corner. If you screw it up, the uphill climb on the longest straight of the track is going to make you wish you hadn't. Hopefully, you got it right to keep your competitors from breezing past, and as the little Skippy chugs uphill past the pit entry, you finished your lap around Road America.
Carly Simon did it best when she sang "Nobody Does It Better." She must have been singing about Joe Peak, talking and taking the viewers around the track, this time Road America. And now for a lap around the point standings. Now keep in mind that with only one race in the book, these numbers pretty much reflect the opening round, except when bonus points are added into the mix, you get some interesting results. Now Sami Toikla dominated and rightfully has the points lead all to himself. Johan Vanderbilt finished third behind Ronald Grossman, but the Vanderbilt got bonus points for leading a lap and being a top 3 qualifier, while the German driver did neither. Hence, you have a tie for second. Ditto that for Timo Vascalampi, who finished behind Mark Pollock on the track, but bonus points find them tied as well. The carrot that is leading a lap bonus point, that should keep racing up front from turning into a parade. That's some good thinking on behalf of the series organizers. Let's go ahead and look at the team championship now. And there we talked about it in the opening. Lap 1 experts with Toikla and Vascalampi doing work. Grossman and Pollock in second place. Another German team down there of Moot and Gruld in the 4th position. Now, not a lot of veterans on this chart. Johan Vanderbilt sitting in 3rd, and we're not sure if he has a teammate. If he does, he hasn't announced yet. Racing for Barrett's Privateer Racing. He sits in 3rd, and then we talked about before, 2 stupid dogs, the 2 veteran of David Third Degree Burns and Vincent Bream down in 5th. With only a 6-race schedule, you can't wait too long if you're going to make a move. And let's go ahead and talk about those event details right now, Adam.
Yeah, of course, season 17, man, I remember this series going way back. I can't believe it's now the 17th season of this thing. Round 2 of 6, no drops, and the race distance is 40 minutes. Now, they do run reduced fuel in these cars, so that's going to guarantee 1 pit stop as we go through the course of the event, and they do cap the incidents at 17 in this series. But, here at Road America and the way these cars drive, Soup, if you're getting even close to that 17 incident limit, you probably don't have any wings left. You may not have any wheels left. So I don't think anybody's going to get close to that here today.
It is fun to talk about some of the things on that event details. So they've gone back to the 1 pit stop. I'll tell you, Adam, you and I did these for so many years. It was 1 pit stop. They went to 2 pit stops for a while. I forgot almost every race. It was just locked into me like I haven't. And luckily, Stefan Slocker, I was working with him that season, said, there's 2. Remember, so 2 stops. Back to 1 the way it should be.
Yeah, and of course the race distance too, with just the 40 minutes, it really kind of helps, consolidate things quite a bit too. Of course, but it also does take some of the strategy out of it just a touch though. I mean, you have Euronum that was always famous for the early peel, late reveal kind of strategy. And it really worked for him. But that's another thing, Soup, I was noticing a lot of too, is that these cars. I mean, I was able to drive some here the last few days. I've had teammates that have commented on it. Just watching these guys go around here, it's a lot like how the Skip Barber used to drive. This new tire model is fantastic, but even more, the driving is put back into the driver's hands. The wings, they might as well be on there for aesthetic reasons, because man, this is all about rubber grip and just the mechanical grip of it. You're really having to wheel this thing around here, and the kink, I think, will be a danger zone as we go through the day, especially if people try to go side by side through there.
You can see the qualifying's going on. Pardon us if Adam and I are a little bit nonchalant about what's going on in qualifying. Adam, it's always nice to sit on the pole, and there are bonus points for being in the top 3, and right now that's Toikala, Vascalampi, and Vanderbilt, and certainly they want to get that. But as far as being on near the front of the grid at Road America in the Skippy, not the worst thing if you're back in 4th or 5th or 6th or 7th.
No, this is very much going to be a drafting contest with these guys. And we've already seen it with Toikala and Vascalampi. I mean, they've pretty much been sitting there during most of this session trading that lead spot and just kind of leapfrogging each other. So, that's where having an advantage of having that teammate that you work well with, it really comes into play to try to get up there. Now, you're going to be looking for, I really think, that the top 5, maybe top 6, because right now David Burns is sitting there right in the 6th position. You got Neil Bamber that would line up right behind him, in 8th. I would expect those group of cars to really try to break away from that lead pack and try to separate themselves. I mean, because this is going to be a drafting contest, and we've seen them before in the series.
It would really be hard for me to overemphasize the intelligence of the absolute beginner guys, the series managers. They really take competition and not only that, broadcast entertainment in mind when they're thinking of a rules package. How about this? The Skippies are so draft sensitive, but they do drafting as a group. I mean, everyone's allowed to be on the track at the same time, and they're happy with it. It emphasizes the team format. Their thinking is, if you can find a teammate to draft with, that's why you want a teammate. And you saw Toikala and Vascalampi working together.
Exactly, and that's. It takes practice to be able to know how to draft these things too. Don't forget that. I mean, it's not just a simple go out there, follow the leader kind of thing. There's a certain amount of leapfrogging that goes on. There's the draft and air mechanics that happen in iRacing itself that you have to think about. We go back, Soup, it must be about 6 seasons now or so ago. We would always see, the packs of 3. And it was always the car that split the middle that had the draft advantage. It was always incredible to watch. Now, I don't know if it's still going to be like that with kind of how the new Skippies are, but, it's still fun to watch, and it's still important to know how that works. So that's why probably this race, more than any other on the schedule, I mean, yeah, you get bonus points for being up at the top of the qualifying order, but at the same time, if you're in that top 10, I think you've got a pretty good shot at being part of the lead pack that breaks away and have a shot at this thing.
Yeah, the trick is the farther you're back in the train, if you're hanging on back to the fast guys and there's a mistake between you and the leaders, there's a good chance that the train will break up. That's the only problem about being too far back. Qualifying just about wrapped up. We got a nice size field here today. What, we got about 37, it looks like. I'm looking at this here. 35, I guess, names on the entry list.
Now, I'm gonna show my ignorance here, Soup, because I didn't get a chance to actually watch the round 1 broadcast. I think I'm going to be here with you for most of the rest of the season, but how many cars do we have in the round 1 broadcast? I always love watching the first couple races of Absolute Beginners because it's just a massive vehicle and machine.
Thankfully, it was a bit sloppy, I will admit that, but thankfully it wasn't the 60-car field that we have seen in the past. And I'm only speaking from a commentator's perspective here. It's awfully hard to call a field of 60. We had a healthy size field, about what we had here today.
Yeah, that's a little bit harder. That's not mechanical machines. Those are hard on. That's our computers that are sitting here in front of us.
It does make them a little taxed.
Now, I did just watch something interesting here between Toikala and Vascalampi. As qualifying comes to an end, they were just practicing drafting each other on pit road entry.
Huh.
That should tell you a little bit what their strategy is going to be like when we go through the race.
The two hail from Finland, and boy, they really work as a team. And you can see that there they are right now, even practice coming in. I wouldn't be surprised they don't practice refueling as well. We're going to ride on board with Vincent Ream of Two Stupid Dogs. He's one of the veterans.
You know, a little bit further back than I'd like to see Vincent Ream, but, you know, he's always been one of those ones that when he has those really good finishes, you know, he's never been the strongest qualifier, but he has a way of staying out of trouble on those really good finishes and be able to just pick off position, and next thing you know, he's where he wants to be at the end of the race. So always fun to watch him.
Another interesting drivers are just about ready to go to grid is Liam Quinn. Now, Adam, you and I have seen Liam Quinn. You put him in a Dallara, and he is just remarkable.
Yeah, I know. He pretty well kicked our butts in majors this year at the Indy 500.
But when you put him in this it's an open wheel car, it just doesn't translate to him. It's really funny how there are different cars for different drivers.
You know, and that could also be the difference in the tire model. I mean, we've seen him be competitive before, but you know, that high downforce open wheel versus low downforce open wheel. We might as well be driving Lotus 49s at some points around this place.
Because it's open qualifying, so they get to finish their hot lap that they're on right now. I'm not sure if anybody's really going to do it. We have 28 drivers that were able to put in times. The drivers that did not put in times, I don't think any of those guys are out on the track right now. So I think we're just rolling through the end of qualifying here. Round number 2. Season 17. Yes, the seasons are short, but that's a good thing. Again, we talk about the series organizers. Adam, if you don't know who your champion is after 6 races, I mean, nothing happens races 7 through 12 anyway. You know, we just run it up the string most of the time. Let's go ahead and look at the weather, Adam.
I think I've done enough weather today, Sue, but I guess let's go ahead and take a look at those temperatures out there. And it's, you know, it's pretty seasonal out there here for this time of year up in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Clear skies, sun beating down on the track. The air temperature is 81, but that track temperature will actually probably, let's take a look at the time of day here. That should be coming down as the race goes along. So maybe getting down in the mid to low 90s by the end of the race, but the winds out of the southeast at 4 miles an hour won't play a factor.
Let's go ahead to the grid now as qualifying is done. Everybody's in. They're just talking up a little bit of a race meeting going on the front row. It is the two Finns, Sami Toikala and Timo Vaskalampi. In row 2, it's David Third Degree Burns, the defending champion, with Peter Butcher outside of him. The fan belt, Johan Vanderbilt, is flanked by Ronald Grossman. Grossman in 6th. Mike Pollock in 7th. He's going to be inside of Michael Hafledazen. And row 5 is populated by Bambi. Neil Bamber is back in 9th position with Kurt Crum in 10th. Adam?
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at row 6. That's the first time I've seen that animation on the starting grid. I like that.
It is nice.
Thomas Kick is going to be on the inside of row 6. Starting alongside me, Guillermo Cravo. Jack Iyer in row 7 alongside him. Rob Adams, Joao Reese, and John Torby will make up row 8. Ari Seahas and Vincent Ream. We talked a little bit about Vincent a little while ago. He'll be in row 9. And Podacek. Woohoo! I've pronounced his name hundreds of times, and I've gotten it right almost every time up until then. He'll be alongside Ludwig Sauer, and that's going to make up your top 20.
Hidden Blackjack is Richard De Silva in the double duck spot. Frederick Neptune, Eric Lupel, and Christopher Quiros go in the next spot. In the quarter century mark, it's Ian Robson. Christian Goulet is flanking him. Troy Banks and Oliver Barrera in the 28th position. And then we get down to the guys at the very back. Let's see, I'll have to read them off the screen. This is a little different on my screen. Carlos Martin and we lose that one, so let me just go from Liam Quinn. There we go. Daniel Mute, Ronald Moons, Adam Bradshaw, Lewis Morgan, and Michael Kimo in the final spots. There we go. We got them all the way through. The last from 34th Oh, the last, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers did not put in qualifying times. 28 did. All right. Adam and I get our GSRC commentator bonus for getting through the entire field of a standing start before they go green.
Yeah, those engines are revving, so we're getting ready to.
You can hear them starting to harmonize. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows. The horses are out of the barn here at Road America for round number 2. Sammy Toikala. It's a long way down to the first corner. Vascalampi right behind him. The two teammates go 1-2. Burns, Butcher, and Vanderbilt. Oh my goodness, and he spins it. Vascalampi is in the sand. I think he's going to get it to come around, and he'll be able to continue.
In the middle of the pack, we got a lot of damage, a lot of contact. The top half of the field was able to get away, though, with the exception of that contact there between, was that Vascalampi and Burns.
Looks like, yeah, Ian Robson involved in the second incident. Oliver Barrera involved in it, but all this going on behind our leader who's driving away, Sammy Toikala. There is a pass for second now as they try to run him down. Vanderbilt in a fight as they go too wide. They're going to touch into 5, and that opens up the door, and another top car is off. Spinning behind him. What a mess. That is Mike Pullock. He spins.
And you don't see David Burns up there. David Burns ran into his own problems after that contact with Vascalampi. So that your top 5 right now is Toikala, Vanderbilt, Grossman, Butcher, and Crum.
And Toikala has a huge 1.5 second lead. He's got Vanderbilt trying to run him down. Boy, my God. Adam, you talked about the tire model on these cars. My gosh, it's like they're racing on grease out there. They are sideways.
Yeah, they're trying to keep it together. And Johan Vanderbilt getting loose through the carousel. Yep. He's off of the grass and the gravel. Is he able to keep it off the wall? Oh, is he still? He's still trying to hang on.
And he gets it back on the tarmac.
Man, lost a few spots, but what a drive.
You can see him on the outside as they continue to go around him on that picture. That's Neil Bamber's going to get underneath him. Some of the drivers in the back, Bamber has found his way up to 6, thanks to all the attrition that is going on in front of him. There it is. Look at Bamber, and he gets the best of Vanderbilt right now.
Looking at Bamber, and I do not see a front wing on his car. In fact, he was caught up in one of those accidents, so he does have some damage already. He's out there just trying to hang on himself, too.
The first lap is done. We're going to come back, and we'll take a look at the first lap later on in the race. There was a lot of stuff to talk about. How about second position, or third position right now? Looks like we have a pass. This is Kurt Crum going on the inside of Peter Butcher. They get that done. With Vanderbilt falling out of the mix, Ronald Grossman now, who gridded in 6th, is now in 2nd, but he's 2.5 seconds behind Sammy Toikala. Toikala's on a run. Toikala was clearly the class of the field, Adam, but it really helps his case when the drivers right behind him are having issues on the first lap.
Yeah, I mean, just about everybody had to take some sort of action there behind him at some point. So, I mean, Toikala is he's got over a 2.5 second lead right now over top of Grossman.
Looking back off the wing there, you can see the little dots just under the car, under the wing, so far back as it's 2.7 seconds now.
Now, as things start to play out here, and everybody kind of gets calmed down after that chaotic first lap, we'll have to see if the likes of Grossman, Crum, and Butcher can work together in order to try to run down Toikala, because Toikala's now out there without any kind of drafting partner or anything. So if it's done right, they can chase him down, but they have to do it right because Toikala is awful fast, even by himself.
A lot of chaos on the first lap. The big news, though, was the contact between, I guess it was Burns and Vascalampi, who was sitting in 2nd. Mikkel Hofladezen was not able to finish his first lap. He gridded in 8th.
Yeah, Vincent Brim was a victim of all that. Looking at David Burns now. David Burns sitting up there trying to see who he's fighting there. It looks like Frederick Neptune. David Burns was able to get out of that without a lot of damage. I mean, even in his second incident, he kind of spun off into the gravel. Oh, that's Adam Bradshaw they just went around. He's missing his front clip. Man, just looking at just everything, Soup, I would say over half the field has been involved in an incident in one way or another here to start this race.
Yeah. Bradshaw not the only driver out there without some wings, as we saw Bamber. He continues to race. Let's go as Toikala is comfortable out in front by 3.5 seconds. He just continues to pick him up and put him down. Let's go ahead and look at Neil Bamber. Remember, he was in that battle. He's now in 8th position. He was in that battle with Johan Vanderbilt. Well, Vanderbilt's trying to work his way up. In fact, if we go up to Vanderbilt in 5th, just a few cars up right now, he's under attack by Jack Erie. Erie in the 14 is going to move to the inside. And actually, that's the outside position. They head down into 5, and they interlock wheels, but they keep it going. Yikes.
And Vanderbilt, don't forget, he had his own troubles there to start this race. He's trying to get back into the spot that he was. He started this race in 5th, so this would put him, I believe, back in the spot, but he did gain a few positions with the chaos. So, you know, great drive to get back on track, and hopefully he can have another good one, because he might be the only person that can get up there to do anything right now, maybe try to lead that pack to get back to Akala, because right now they are bleeding time away from him.
Look at, boy, Erie weaving like a loom behind him, and now he's going to try it around the outside. It doesn't work. He's off in the sand.
That was a veteran move by Johan Vanderbilt. He let Erie have that position going into the corner, knowing he was being over-aggressive.
And as we're going to look at this one, and if we can, keep on the replay, can we go to Eri Series got in a with John Morgan here. This was ugly. It might happen right now, Director, if you can get to it. Car number 17. No, not going to be able to get there. Well, they had a crash, so they're probably in pit lane right now, so I guess we're not going to be able to see them. It happened right after the exact same time. Of course, Morgan, notorious for being a very clean driver.
Yeah, that right there will just tell you what happened. Is it looked like just 2 damaged cars getting together. Yep. So it just there's a lot of them out there right now.
All right, we're going to look at this battle as right now. So we're looking at Neil Bamber. Remember, he's trying to wait till he gets to the pit window. But despite not having front wings, he's not going to stop him from trying to make a pass. He works to the inside of Bravo. Talked about the driver in 3rd. That's Rob Adams back there in 8th position. 3rd in line of this train. Careful. And get a little bit loose as Bravo, and he keeps it clean. Bamber up to 6th. Adam, you talked about the front wings being cosmetic. That's just kind of proving your point here, isn't it?
Yeah, Bambi's hanging on, man. I mean, you know, I would say that some of his problems almost look like they're more rear-end related than front-end related at times, but he's still able to drive straight.
You can see the interval between the top drivers up there. They are all separated by 4.5 to 5.5 seconds. Now, this is the battle with Grossman and Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt trying to make up for his mistake that took him through the grass. That was some great racing from Vanderbilt as he put it off in the grass, didn't hit the wall, and was able to bring it back out. So we ride on board with the Vanderbilt, looking up at the German driver. He gets a little bit loose through 8th. That's going to open the door as they head down into the carousel. Different racing lines.
One of the places where Vanderbilt had a little bit of a problem earlier. They're going to go through the carousel, and you know, they're going to hit the back straightaway, and it's that kink on the back straightaway where some of these guys are starting to have some problems. I mean, these cars slide through there. Nobody's going straight at that kink right there.
Here comes the fan belt. I've been watching him. He's not really, he's not in the mood to make the pass. I've been following. He's had the opportunity before. I think he's happy behind Grossman right now.
It's worth noting that Vanderbilt that last time by at the start-finish line was the second fastest car on the racetrack. I'll give you a clue who the first was.
Sammy Toikla would be my guess. Is that where we're going?
Oh, yeah.
You can see the gap that he continues to build now up to over 5 seconds. Hard charger, though. Let's give a little love to the driver in second. Kurt Crum in 10th, racing in second. He's all by himself. Now, gathering him up is Peter Butcher. He's starting to run him down a bit. We'll keep that eye on that interval. It's 1.5 seconds. And I think the Butcher's going to be faster and get there pretty soon.
Now, I want to give a little bit of a shout out to somebody that's gained even more spots than Kurt Crum there, and that would be Rickard De Silva, running right now in 10th position. He's up 11th spots since the start of this thing, just avoiding trouble. So he's having himself a pretty good race. He's got about, I believe, about a second or so. Maybe a second and a half going back to Ludwig Sauer. So he's hanging on to that 10th spot pretty well.
Yeah, racing out there all by himself. Sauer in the tow, so he might be able to run him down. Ludwig coming up a great season last season, where he finished well up in the points.
Ooh, actually, Kurt Crum running in second just had a big off and just lost a lot of time to Peter Butcher. Peter Butcher now in his tow, so maybe Butcher can do something here with second place.
We'll take a look at the replay on this one as he did get loose.
It was just an innocent looking off, but it cost him a lot of time.
Yeah, I think a lot of that had to do with pressure, too, as we talked about it, that Butcher was coming, and I think Crum could feel it. I'll be surprised as we come back live here in a minute if Crum's going to put up much as a fight. Butcher now about 5 car lengths back and coming quick. Now back behind, you can see in the dark those 2 other dots back there. That is that battle between Grossman and Vanderbilt, but it's really not a battle as Vanderbilt is not making any attempt to pick up the position. That's not the case for what we're looking at right here. Here comes Peter Butcher now, just a car length back, a half a car length back. He's going to be in great position out of this final corner. In fact, he might be in too good a position as he loses a little bit of momentum. Luckily for him, this is a long straight. Plenty of time for him to gobble up this distance, I think.
You got 2 incredibly fast cars behind him in Grossman and Vanderbilt, who Vanderbilt's now comfortable back there. Here comes Butcher. He's going to make the play here on second place, going past the start-finish line, going down the rest of the front straightaway. He's going to be completely clear of him by the time he gets into turn 1. In fact, he does pull ahead of him, so Crum back in Butcher's draft, and they're going to go sliding through turn 1.
Two things that can be learned there is, hey, look at this. Vanderbilt did get around Grossman. What do you know? He did it on the front straight. Easy to make that pass into corner number 1, but you need a better run out of 14 if you're going to make the pass before the start-finish line. Adam, we can jump ahead to the last lap. Plenty of time here with this track car combination to have a run to snake somebody at the finish line at this track.
Yeah, and that goes to be the difference between an end-of-race strategy versus mid-race strategy, and we're almost to mid-race already. We're hitting about 14 minutes in, and so coming in mid-race, you want to try to be clear of them by turn 1, but don't give them enough time to get back around you by the time you get to turn 1.
Let's go to 6th position real quick. We're looking here. We found one. This is it. Now that's Vanderbilt that's Bamber up in front, Bravo behind him, and then watching on is Rob Adams. Adams has been watching the whole time. I report that Vanderbilt just pulled over and let Grossman go around him again, just kind of waved him by, so Vanderbilt is back and forth. I'm not sure what that was all about. This is a nice battle, though. How about Neil Bamber doing a good job as ease? That's not going to work. Look at him recover, though. Opens the door, and there's the opportunity. I will take that, says Bravo. He gets the car a little bit loose, but he gets it done.
But that's another smart move. I mean, Cravo didn't try to jump on him right away. He knew that these skip barbers slide around a little bit, sometimes even after it. So he made sure he was completely gathered up and wasn't going to slide into him while he was trying to get around him. He made sure that he had room to make that move.
Yeah, you can really see how these are momentum cars there as Bamber got the car back out on track, but the mistake cost him a corner later. Look at Neal, though, continue to fight. The best seat in the house belongs to Rob Adams. I think it's just back there. He could get in the mix if he wants to, but he's just waiting for these guys to make a mistake, and that almost happens there. You look on board. Adam, I guess Bamber can race with a little more confidence as he's already lost his front wing. He has, I mean, nothing to lose now.
Right, at least at the front of the car.
Yeah, right.
Hey, here's another active battle going on just behind these guys, Ricker Da Silva and Ludwig Sauer. Ludwig has been able to catch up to Da Silva, and man, they've been going at tooth and nail, almost locked wheels a few times a few moments ago.
Here comes the pass right now. Moving to the inside to get the pass done. That is Sauer. He finally does it. Move him up into the top 10. I don't think that one is done, though, as Da Silva's going to stay right back there.
This is trading spots from where it was the last time down the front straightaway, too. And Da Silva got back around Ludwig Sauer in the middle part of the course, and then that's just a pass back. So your lap-to-lap standings didn't change around there, but that spot did change around 2 or 3 times that last lap.
Let's P2, this is the Butcher-Crum battle. They are side by side. Butcher out in front. Crum given a chance on him as they work down into corner number 6. Butcher fends him off.
And these guys finally starting to come in because the last 2 times by the start-finish line, Butcher has been faster than Toykala. So there you go. That's a move that needed to happen, and maybe Crum can hang on to him. And then, of course, behind him, Grossman, loose off in the grass. He's going to be able to save it, but that's going to give Vanderbilt the easy pass.
We'll take a look at this. Vanderbilt goes by, and honestly, Johan's not happy about this because those 2 guys have been working together and were beginning to run down Butcher and Crum. And this mistake is just going to cost both of them time. Nice recovery, though. Now, as we come back live, let's drop back to as that's what I'm saying, back to 6th position again. This is Cravo. Remember this battle we've been watching, Bamber, and now we have a new guy in the mix. Remember how it was Rob Adams who was in the popcorn position? Well, here comes Jack Erie as he's going to make a move now on Neil Bamber. Erie had already got around Adams, and now he picks off one more, and don't be surprised if he gets up to Cravo here really soon. Good run from Jack. Now, this is David Burns in 11th position. He has got around Da Silva. Remember, we were looking at this battle between Sauer and Da Silva. I thought Da Silva was going to stick with him. No, that's not the case. Burns is, though, trying to make up for that first lap incident as he's trying to come back in 11th.
So our first taker down pit road is going to be Bambi.
Not surprising, figuring he was at that disadvantage without having the front wings. Although
and he may not even know it's not there. I mean, obviously the contact was hard to miss. He probably figures he has some sort of damage up there. But
iRacing puts it back. Unfortunately,
it put back the nose cone. Just the tip of the nose.
Yeah, this one may cost him as far as the wings do not go back on, at least from that angle. So,
at the very least, you're not getting air inside the bodywork now, right?
Yeah, but it's keeping them nice. Whoa, look at this! Oh no! That's the battle with Erie. And he got into it. I believe that was Cravo. He was going side by side with. And they go down. And that was Guilherme who got into it with him.
Man, that's a type of incident there that could have been a whole lot worse than what it ended up being.
We come back. So we talked about Erie making his run through there. So Guilherme back in 7th, Rob back in 8th. Let's drop back to 9th position real quick. We talked about Ludwig Sauer and Burns making a run. Well, Burns is there now. Would not be surprised if Burns doesn't make this pass between the kink and Canada. Neil Bamber is back out on the track. His pit stop 16.7 seconds. Here comes Third Degree behind Ludwig Sauer. A little slow. Not sure he's going to get there before they get to Canada, so we'll have to wait.
You don't need to go to it, but just so you know, in the saga of Cravo versus Iyer, Cravo just took that spot back from Iyer.
Our leader
Takala
comes in.
Down pit road.
New leader. As I believe is going to be Vanderbilt, if I'm correct, as I think no Butcher. Looks like Butcher stayed out as well. So Butcher stays out. Vanderbilt and Grossman both stay out. It'll be interesting to see now how Butcher does. The car's going to be a little lighter for Peter. Crum will have more fuel in there. They were racing close together. We'll see if the overcut works here. Toikala cycles out in 10th. Here's this battle again between Vanderbilt and Grossman. I'm not sure if they're really fighting. They've been trying to work together. Of course, they're trying to recover after Grossman took his trip through the grass, slowed them both down.
You know, I would almost say that duo right there was faster with Grossman out in front.
Yeah.
And it just, you know, it just seemed like they were starting to run them down when Grossman was out there. Of course, that was before Grossman had his little bit of an off there. But I would say the same about the Butcher-Crum connection. They were faster with Crum out in front than Butcher. And, of course, during that entire process, Toikala was just able to run away.
And then, of course, there is the battle a little farther back. Oh, my, they're going to get together. This is Erie again and Cravo. Rob Adams back about 3 car lengths again, looking on.
Rob Adams has had a bird's eye view of a lot today.
And
Just going to throw that out there.
They continue to fight. One other point I want to make about Peter Butcher staying out. Remember, there are bonus points for leading a lap.
Iyer was off. He's trying to save it. He's almost off again, right on the white line. Woo-hoo-hoo. Rob Adams was completely off the gas. He was anticipating something happening there. Cravo was just trying to make sure he had enough room.
He's coming back on him.
Lose, oh boy.
Oh. I tell you, Erie was so loose behind him, I thought he was going to get up into the nose. The good news is that the pit stops are coming, and I would not be surprised if Ron Adams, if they don't come in, whatever they do, I'll do the other.
Rob Adams is coming in.
I do not. And I think everyone has
all
to come
three
in.
of them are, okay. It might be about that window where they absolutely have to come in, too. We're almost at the 15-minute mark here.
Ronald Grossman stays out, so he'll get credit with leading a lap as he's going farther than anybody, hopefully. It's a long way around Road America. I don't really think Ronald Grossman was in the tow all that much, so he must have a really light foot to be able to put in the extra 4 miles here. Nobody is going as far as him. Now let's look at Butcher coming out right now. Butcher comes out, and there goes Crum, and Crum just blows him by. Now look at Butcher and Vanderbilt in a mix. Remember, we talked about Vanderbilt and Grossman started to run those guys down. Butcher has a horrible stop. Good news for Kurt Crum, who's now up in front by 2.5 seconds.
Woo, Vanderbilt really sliding his way there. He almost had that off, but he lost a lot of time to Butcher just while he was sideways. it's just amazing to me now, Soup. You know, I used to always talk about the narrow tires on these cars and how much they used to slide through corners. It is like that, except magnified by about 3 times now. Every time you go through a corner, you're dirt tracking this thing through the corner. But what Johan Vanderbilt just did and was able to keep it on the track was, even though he lost time, that just goes to show that this car really is back in the driver's hands.
Our leader has worked his way through the carousel, through the kink, heading down to Canada. I guess he knows how much fuel he has. He's confident that he can get there. Troy Banks, the only other driver that has gone this far. Banks in 16th position now. Well, the car's lighter. It'll be interesting to see how Grossman fares in relationship to Butcher and Vanderbilt. And I guess even Crum, although Crum was really, really fast. Here's why. Crum's pit stop, and it got to make you worry a little bit, 13.8 seconds. Toyka, 18 seconds. Butcher, 17 seconds. There's one way to be fast in pit lane, and that's not take enough fuel. And okay, now Grossman is in. Really should not be an issue with Takala. Should be able to just blow him by. He goes around. Butcher now is out of the final corner, just crossing pit entrance right now. Grossman is in his box.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just going to blow by him.
Crum gets him. Now he's out first. I think it's only Crum. Here he comes. He's out on track. There goes Butcher.
Okay,
Boy,
so
he's trying to get that car wound up.
In there. I figured those guys would have had enough momentum as Vanderbilt goes sliding through there again. I figured they would have had enough momentum to pass by, just blow by him. But now they have a great opportunity here for all 3 of these guys to actually work together and try to catch up to Crum.
Yeah, I really think Crum is... something's fishy in Denmark, and I really think Crum's going to have a hard time getting to the end on the fuel that he has. Here's a pass for, I believe, let's see, is Vanderbilt going to make it? No, he's just back there watching. So, with all the pit stops done now, let's go ahead and run down all the drivers that are on the lead lap. We'll take them 5 at a time. Your leader, up in front. It's not going to be wire to wire, but it's Sami Takala. He's got 6 seconds on the driver in second. That would be Kurt Crum. This commentator is very concerned about Crum going the distance on the fuel that he has. Then you get to the 3-car battle between these guys who could be racing for second if Crum does need to pit. Butcher started in 4th, racing in 3rd right now. Grossman started in 6th. And then Johan Vanderbilt back there in 5th position, right where he gridded up. Adam, who you got in the next spot?
Well, we're looking at Neil Bamber, able to still hang on to 6th position. He's got Rob Adams still behind him in 7th. Bravo in 8th. Iyer they finally settled it out between them, and Rob Adams was able to kind of leapfrog them there on the pit stops. But Iyer has finally settled into 9th position. And going back to 10th, another guy that's on a recovery drive is David Third Degree Burns. Started this race in 3rd position, had that contact going into turn 1, had his own spin, and that was all just lap 1. So back in 10th.
And as we look at this battle here, this is our guys up front again. They continue just to kind of race in line. Vanderbilt has now moved his way up into 4th. Their goal to try to run down Crum. Crum, they have about 3 seconds to get there. We'll stay on this battle till they get down into quarter number 1. Wojciech Podolczek has had a problem. We'll take a look at this one, and I can report that Vanderbilt made that pass, and there's Podolczek having his issues.
The kink went a little too wide in the kink. That rear tire grabbed the grass. Into the concrete he goes.
We'll watch it one more time on board with the Polish driver.
And that's a part of the track, Soup, where you don't hit anything soft. I mean, it's all hard contact through there. And indeed, I mean, he's trying to crab that car back around, having troubles getting it back to the pit lane.
And we come back live to Botek. Okay, we got through the first 10. Let's run down the rest of these guys real quickly. That battle for fourth position continues. They continue to race in line right now. Vanderbilt up in front. They continue just to swap positions. Let's go ahead and look at 11th position. This is Ludwig Sauer. He's got about a second and a half on De Silva, who races in 12th. De Silva up 9 spots. It's a long way back, 16 seconds to Frederick Neptune, but he is on the lead lap. Another 2 seconds back to Christopher Gueros in 14th. Michael Kimon in 15th, and I'll just run out these last 3 real quick. Wojciech Podolczyk had an issue, so he's no longer in this mix. As Adam Bradshaw would be next. And then Troy Banks. Troy, nice job. I believe Troy is the last car on the lead lap. So 17 cars on the lead lap right now. This is interesting. Look at this. Now, I don't know if this is so much of a dance as it looks like they're doing a little racing now. This is not the fastest way to get through there. Grossman, Butcher, and Vanderbilt is now at the back of this 3-car train.
See, and while I understand everybody wants to race and wants to try to get positions and everything, if they would have stayed in line, that last time by, before last, they gained over a half second on Crum, and this time they won't.
Yeah, I agree. We're looking at this battle. This is Mr. Excitement today. This is Erie. Now, don't be surprised if Burns doesn't go ahead and get Erie quickly, and he probably has enough pace to get up to Adams and Bamber and Kravel, who race in 6th position. This is an important pass for Burns. He'd like to get this made here. And then it's 2.5 seconds to a buffet of 3. Here's the pass. The difference between Burns and Erie is Burns is the championship hunter. Yeah, he's the defending champion, so he has big picture aspirations here. Pass is made. Let's jump up to that battle that's just ahead of him in 6th position. Kravel, Bamber, and Adams. And there's poor Rob Adams again, back watching the excitement. He was ahead of him for a while, Adam, but now he's back there watching again.
Just kind of the luck, I guess. Maybe some people are just made to be in your popcorn spot there, Soup.
Takala out in front by 7.7 seconds. He looks like he has this one going his way in these final 7 minutes. The driver I'm worried about is Kurt Crum. Does he have enough fuel? He doesn't seem to be worried about lifting as he continues to mind the gap back to this 3-car battle. And let's go to 3rd position now, because these guys are not really cooperating. This is not choreography here. This is some racing, and they're slowing each other down. Butcher, Grossman, and Vanderbilt.
We've all decided that we're just going to race for 3rd, and we're going to go wheel to wheel till the end of this thing. Which there isn't a thing wrong with that. You can tell they're having fun out there with what they're doing.
Well, I tell you, you are right, Adam. These cars are taking my breath away. The way they are, I don't know if they're manhandling it, but the way they are finessing it around curves sideways. Boy. Really fun to watch. Let's stay on this one as they get to the final corner. Let's see what they decide to do down the front straight. And this will give us an indication of where the passing is to the finish line, as Grossman is in pretty good position, about 2 car lanes back. Now it's a while between they get to the start finish line, and Grossman has no run, so I don't think he has to worry about it as they cross the line right there. He'll get the pass down into the first corner. And that's the kind of pass that's going to gain them some time on Crum. Here we go, down into the... They get that pass made.
See, you know, every lap or so, they're able to gain about a tenth to maybe about 3 or 4 tenths on Kurt Crum. There's just not enough time left for that kind of very small gain. So at this point, for one of those guys to have to finish second, Crum is either going to have to make a mistake or run out of fuel, one or the other. But you know, you can say the same about Toykala right now. Toykala out now by almost 8 seconds.
Indeed. The question is, can Kurt Crum, does he have enough fuel to get to the end? The interval now 2.5 seconds, as they've knocked a half off, but there's only 4.5 minutes of racing to go. Lots of battles that we will follow. We'll follow the battle for third. We'll keep an eye on this battle for 6th position. And now it includes, remember we talked about Burns? Well, he's in the mix, but look, he's brought Erie with him. This is a 5-car battle now. Cravo, Bamber, Adams, Erie, and Burns.
It's been a few laps since I looked at David Burns, and somewhere along the way he lost his rear wing.
Yeah, I'm going to guess, and this is bad to assume, but Jack Erie was behind him, and now Jack Erie is in front of him.
Erie bumped him going into the corner right before the carousel, and that knocked out his rear wing. So, but it just goes to my belief that these wings are just cosmetic on these cars nowadays.
Well, front wings certainly are. Rear wings, I kind of like those, but we'll see.
I don't know, but David Burns is certainly hanging on with that one.
Got it. Here comes the pass from the guy who's really been the most aggressive driver out there. Jack Erie makes the pass now. Careful as he gets in front of Rob Adams. Boy, that's just a contrast of racing skill, technique there is. Erie very aggressive. Rod Adams very conservative, just trying to stay out, just trying to bring the car home. Good racing going on for 6th. So we'll follow this battle. We'll also keep an eye on what's going on in 3rd. Boy, those guys have lost time to Crum.
Yeah, I think next time by, our leader should be taking the white flag.
We continue to look at this. This is where the excitement is, though. Our director has it 3 wide. Now tucking in behind Erie. That is the multicolored car of Neil Bamber. Bamber without a wing gets right up behind him. On the high side, that's Cravo. They head down into 3, which is the right-hander. Cravo will be on the outside. He'll have the momentum if he can make it stick. He cannot. Trying to sneak up in there is Bamber. This is some good racing as they head down into 5. Going off in the grass is the 27 of Rob Adams as he tries to get to the inside of Cravo. I think he's going to have the preferred line. Let's see if he forces the issue. Meanwhile, Bamber makes the move going into 5. They race in a 2-1-2 zone down into corner number 5. They get him worked out. Careful as that was Cravo who almost got up into the tail of Bamber. They get it sorted out. Back behind in the last 2 cars back there, that's Adams fighting. Burns trying to go around the outside of Adams. He keeps it on the pavement. He gets it done. They lose a little time. Oh, my goodness.
I think I figured it out with David Burns.
Yeah.
If you don't have a rear wing, I mean, yeah, you have less downforce, but you have less drag also. Hey, physics. Physics.
The car goes. Okay, so that is exciting. I can report up front. It's Butcher, Grossman, and Vandenberg. We'll keep an eye on that one, but this is where the action is. Go, Adam.
Just trying to confirm. Did we just lose Iyer?
Yeah. My guess
Jack
is
Iyer.
this is going to be Twilight Zone, I think.
Oh, he had an off right before that. I wonder if he got disqualified for hitting that incident limit.
I don't want to make judgments. If anybody deserves probably to have that happen to him, it was him. He was racing with reckless abandon out there. All right, here's the battle for 3rd. We are on the white flag lap. The white car, that is Peter Butcher. I'm sorry, the car on driver left. On the inside is Grossman.
I'm going to put down I'm going to put down a $5 chip on Johan van der Belt coming home in third.
Yep. And he might be last in line out of corner number 14. .6 seconds, the interval from these guys to Crum. Apparently Crum has enough fuel.
And that Cravo, Burns, Bamber, and Adams combination just going at it still.
Boy, there's a lot of action. Too much to cover as we look at these guys. Butcher is going to get the best down into 5. Van der Belt watching from the 5th spot.
That may have given Butcher the space he needs.
Let's go quickly down into 5 because this is going to be the action. This is Cravo inside trying to make a pass on Burns. Look at Burns has got there. Burns with the momentum. He has no rear wing. That's not going to stop him. He gets good drive off. There's going to open the door. Here comes Bamber with no front wing down on the inside. My gosh, the drivers who have had their wings clipped are showing what they can do as Burns now has got them all. And he begins to pull away. Toikala making his way down into Canada, our leader. We don't need to go there yet. Let's go to 4th real quick. This is Grossman under attack from Van der Belt. Van der Belt needs to get this pass made so he can have a shot at Butcher. They go down into Canada, and Van der Belt tries to finish. They interlock wheels. Somehow they manage to stay off each other.
So far, anyway.
Going to the leader out of the final corner, looking to win 2 in a row here in the Absolute Beginners Formula Neagle. It's going to go to the Finn, Sami Takala. He gets the win. Kurt Crum has enough fuel, despite what the commentator said, to get 2nd. Let's look at Butcher. He's going to get 3rd. The fight is going to be for 4th. Van der Belt ahead. Here comes the late run from Grossman. He's not going to get there. Van der Belt gets 4th. Let's go back to the other battle. Out of the final corner. That is Burns ahead. He takes it wide. Cravo's got behind him. He's got plenty of time to get there. Half a car length back. Moves to the outside. Pulls up alongside. Despite having no rear wing and no drag, Cravo is going to get the pass made. Burns trying to get there. He's going to have to settle for what will be 8th position. Bamber takes 9th. The man who watched it the entire race, Rob Adams, gets 9th. Sorry, Bamber will get 8th. Sawyer comes across in 10, and an 11th position is going to be Da Silva. I don't believe there's any other drivers out there. Let's go ahead and watch the last 2 cars. I'll give them a little screen time. We won't follow them all the way to the end. But how about a little love for Michael Keymont, as he's going to finish in 14th position. Second to last on the lead lap, being chased by Adam Bradshaw, who will finish 15th. The last car on the lead lap. As they complete those last laps, let's go ahead and take a break here on the Global SimRacing Channel. We're going to take a break. We'll come back to run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Back in a few. welcome back to the Global SimRacing Channel's coverage of the Round 2 of the Formula Neagle, brought to you by the Absolute Beginners League. The results are in. Let's give those to you right now here from Road America. Sami Toikala, it was not wire to wire, but it almost was, as he picks up his second win. Kurt Krum gets second place with a really fast pit stop that had this commentator worried, but no fear, he was able to bring it home safely in second. Peter Butcher, Johan Vanderbilt, and Ronald Grossman put on quite a show for third position. When it's all settled down, that's the order that they will finish. Another great battle for sixth position that was displayed by Guillermo Cravo, David Burns, Neil Bamber, and Rob Adams. They go 6th, 7th, and 8th. Burns finishing without a rear wing. Bamber racing for much of the race without a front wing. Ludwig Sauer rounds out your top 10. Adam?
Yeah, going to 11th position, you'll find Frederick Neptune. I think we only had the cameras on Frederick Neptune once today. Yep. And when you have a quiet day like that, in this larger field, finish 11th, that's a good day. Ricker De Silva had a great battle going at times today. Christopher Giros coming home in 13th. Michael Keymont in 14th. Adam Bradshaw able to finish on the lead lap with an absolutely torn up machine. That in itself is a victory. He's going to be in 15th. Jack Iyer was involved in that big battle there for that 6th spot right until he hit the incident limit. He's going to come home in 16th. Troy Banks 17th. John Torpy in 18th. Potajek in 19th, and 20th is Zhao Reese.
Hidden Blackjack, it's Oliver Barrera. Luis Morga in the double duck spot. Uri Serjas had the 23rd position. Daniel Moot in 24th. Mike Pollock in the quarter century mark, followed by the Strudelmeister Thomas Kick, Ian Robson, Christian Goulet, and Timo Vascalampi. He had that problem in the very first lap. He'll have to settle for 29th without drop rates. That's going to hurt him in the points for the driver championship as well as his team. Michael Hofladaisen in 30th. Now this run these out. Vincent Bream, Eric Lupel. In the astrological battle between Ronald Moons and Frederick Neptune, it goes to the planet as he finished in 11th. Ronald Moons in 33rd. Carlos Rodriguez Martin in 34th, and Mr. Excitement, Liam Quinn. Not sure if he actually took the grid as he's back there as in the final spot. Let's go to our interviews right now, and we will go ahead and have the opportunity to talk to a man who finished third last time out in the opening. Today he finishes fourth in round number 2. This is the fan belt himself, Johan Vanderbilt. Johan, I guess you could have finished as high as third and as low as fifth, so you're about where you might have been.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I can repeat the same stuff of last week. I didn't have the pace, and the only reason that I could battle this high up was because I could stay in the draft of other drivers in qualifying, and I could stay in the draft of fast drivers during the race. P3 was the maximum after my pit stop because I was in the battle with Peter and Ronald. I'm a little bit frustrated or sad, so to speak, that both Peter and Ronald decided to really give you guys a great show, I think, and that is to continuously battle each other and not work together and try to run Kurt down, which we absolutely could have done if we worked together. So yeah, that kind of sealed the deal that Kurt was on his way to a second position, and we had to fight out for the final podium.
It's funny because you and I have worked in the booth long enough to know that that's not how you do it. I could feel your pain. Hey, yeah. Let's go to did you enjoy your trip through the Wisconsin countryside? That was impressive.
You mean in lap 1?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I thought you were in the wall. That wall was getting awfully big.
Yeah, we have a second date soon. No, it was incredibly difficult to navigate these cars with these track temperatures the first 2 laps. The tires are so cold and so slippery. So there were several corners that I was struggling with, namely the kink. So I was going for the carousel and I was fully focused on the kink. Like, okay, Johan, you have to lift off a little bit. Make sure you don't spin it around there. You'll cause a huge pileup. And then I completely lost it in the carousel. I was so focused on the next corner. And that sent me a little bit way down the order. But in the end, it wouldn't have mattered that much, I think, because with Timu and David crashing out lap 1, Sami was already gone. Like, we really needed P2 and P3 to stay close to Sami to give him a run for his money. So, maximum, I think.
I'll get you out of here on this one. We did the team points today. Are you racing by yourself or do you have a teammate this season?
No, I'm the privateers, right? Paris
Okay.
privateers. So I'll be all alone, finding for myself and country, and trying to stay in that top 5 graphic that you guys have.
All right, good luck with that as you're doing it on your own. It worked for Aero Nom. He won many a team championship by himself. Frederick Neptune would ride on his coattail many a season. So congratulations. Good luck down the way.
Absolutely. Let's try to put myself on that list with Aero now. It's going to be great.
There you go. All right, that was our 4th place finisher today, Johan Vanderbilt. He'll be doing well in the points. Came into this race in 3rd in the points with a 4th place finish here. He'll do great. All right, I believe that's it, as we have nobody else that's going to be able to talk to us. I think we are a victim of many Finnish and German drivers who maybe have issues with the English language. Let's go ahead and run down then the people that we need to thank. How about the Absolute Beginner Leagues for organizing Formula Neagle and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Thanks to the software, the company's equipment and software you see on screen right now that we use on the broadcast. Original music that gives every GSRC production that unique flavor and feel. That's thanks to June Lalonde. See the screen to how to get a hold of more of her great work. Formula Neagle returns for round 3 in 2 weeks. That's going to be July 14th from Barber Motorsports Park as we continue to stay on the North American continent. GSRC will be there. We hope that you join us. Sliding across your screen now are some of the upcoming broadcasts, and check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you want more information about us, Global SimRacing Channel. We're also on Instagram at GSR_Graham, Twitter at GSRC Channel, and Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel. And while you're here, if you haven't done so yet, become a GSRC YouTube subscriber by hitting that big red button. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, that would be Adam, Sean, and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for watching as we watch Sami Takala win his 2nd race in a row and get a stronger grip on the championship so early in the season, winning here in round 2 at Road America. With that said, we're off to have fun, storm the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.